god. I just like feel like my mom's gonna watch this and I just can't. I can't think about that right now, so I'm just gonna continue. I feel like that's like my mating dance, which is ironic because this video is about not having sex. Cool! Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian and I'm so happy to have you. I make videos from lifestyle to self-improvement. I'm all about empowering women to live their best lives possible. So if you're into that kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe. I'm sure by the title you can tell what I will be talking about, and that is the fact that I stopped having sex and kind of explaining why I stopped having sex and what impact it had on my life in general, especially my dating life. So let's get into the video, I guess. So if you've probably ever met me before, you can kind of guess that I'm totally an open book. I love to talk about taboo subjects and get real personal and deep with people, and that is why I'm not afraid really to make this video. It's something that I haven't talked about to anyone besides like close friends, I would say. It's not something I typically bring up around acquaintances, but I am happy to share what I've gone through, if it can help you guys in any way, or just explain why I chose this lifestyle. So without further ado, we'll get into the video and start from the beginning. So I stopped having sex about 10 months ago, and at first it wasn't a personal choice really. It wasn't a conscious decision. It was just kind of, I wasn't dating anybody, I didn't have any dating apps, I wasn't really meeting anybody. But yeah, I was basically dating myself. I had no interest in sleeping with anyone. So it was kind of an unconscious decision. And then I started getting more involved in church, and that quickly changed to a conscious decision. It all really started to change when I watched this video series called The New Rules for Sex, Love, and Dating, and it is these amazing videos. There's 4 of them, and I highly recommend these videos to any girl or guy. Honestly, I had my friend Johnny watch them, and he was very impacted and definitely looked at sex and dating in a whole nother perspective. So for all you guys watching, or girls who have guy friends, feel free to recommend it to them. It really is great for both genders, and it really just completely changed. It blew my mind on like the concept of dating, and through a combination of those videos and church, I just like quickly started to raise my standards and know my value and see my worth, and especially how sex correlated to my worth. I think I really got to a point, well, I think just looking back, I can notice now, maybe I wasn't conscious to this at the time, but looking back, I can definitely see where I placed some of my value around sex and what I could provide sexually to men and in relationships, rather than what I could provide on my own without that. And I think it definitely took a toll on my worth. I would say about 3 years ago is when I was like kind of at my lowest point in self-confidence, and I was putting up with a lot of things that I shouldn't have been, and that is when my confidence was at an all-time low. And I also noticed that's when I leaned on sex to uphold relationships or like keep them going, and I felt obligated at that point, and I just don't think that is a healthy place that anyone should be. No one should feel obligated to do anything sexual in order to keep a relationship alive or even date anyone in general. At the time, I obviously didn't notice this, but looking back, it was definitely there. Where I put it on a scale compared to like everything else I had to offer, I would sometimes put it above like my amazing qualities, like my personality, you know. So the first thing I noticed when I stopped having sex was that I was so much more focused on myself. I no longer went out, if I ever went out to the bars, I was no longer worried about finding guys to talk to. I didn't make my whole night about guys, and therefore I was able to enjoy time with my friends more. I just had so much more time to focus on myself. I wasn't on dating apps. And I also was able to filter through men very quickly. First, I went through this phase of my unconscious decision, and then what really started to change things was, one, those videos, but I also had two conversations that really blew my mind, and that was with these two Christian guys. One that I remember in particular is I went to coffee with a guy from church, and he kind of just explained why he was waiting for marriage, and just the way he talked about his future wife was like something I've never heard before. I literally sat down with him and he was just saying how he wants to date the least woman possible because he never wants that to hurt his future wife and who he's gonna marry, and that he's just working on himself right now because he wants to be the best he can be for his future wife. Like, this kid had not even met or had really dated anyone seriously. Like, he had not met his future wife. He doesn't know where she is, when she's coming, but he's sitting here like putting in the work to make sure this like mystery woman is happy in her and like feels so worthy and loved and valued and special in the future. And after that conversation, I was like, what? This guy is saving himself for marriage because he cares so much about something and someone he hasn't met yet. And meanwhile, in today's society, we're settling, and I'm settling for a guy who can't even wait a couple weeks to have sex, or that's all he's on these apps for, or when he goes to the bar, all he's thinking about is taking you home. Like, that's what we're settling for. But there's men like that out there in the world. Like, no thanks. I'm going to pass, and I'm gonna go after men like that. So that's when everything started to, so it was a combination of those two things that really opened my eyes to why people wait till marriage and just why people wait in general. I think at this point I started considering saving myself for marriage, but it was a lot easier said than done considering I was single at the time, and I wasn't getting tested in it. So at this time was the point where I just started to consider it and open my mind. But it truly was the time where I saw the value in waiting, and my eyes opened to the importance of sex and the emotional toll and connection it can really create between two people. So yeah, that was the biggest thing I got out of the video, was just how what sex was created for and the impact of having sex. And you're basically giving a piece of yourself to everyone you sleep with. And when I started looking at it this way, I was like, do I really want to give a piece of my soul to the cute guy who's dancing to Justin Bieber on the table? Maybe not, maybe not. Or do I want to give it to the guy who's taken me out to dinner 3 times, but kind of said something weird that makes me think he just wants to sleep with me? I don't know. Do I want to give it to this guy who's treating me like an asshole? I just don't know if I want to give all these pieces of my soul away. And that's kind of like how I started viewing sex, and it really changed my perspective, that's for sure. So I actually started dating somebody in January, and we didn't sleep together at all, never even got close to it at first, and then I explained to him the value I saw in sex and how I wanted to wait. I don't think he really took it that seriously at first, but over time of like building a friendship, I suggested that he watched those videos, and I think that helped him kind of grasp my views on sex. He was not Christian at this time. He is now, but at this time he was coming into pursuing me as just someone who does not have any religious beliefs, so keep that in mind. But I actually texted my boyfriend to see how he, from his perspective, what it was like to be with someone who wasn't having sex. and he was kind enough to answer. So I will share what he thought about the process, I guess. So he said in the beginning, it was a bit hard because he thought that having sex really like sealed the deal, and kind of like confirmed that we would be in a relationship. So he kind of was placing his own value in sex and thinking that's like one of the biggest things he had to offer. But he quickly got over that because he said he knew truly he wanted to be with me long term and wanted something serious with me, and he never wanted to do anything to disrespect me or hurt me. And then after that, he became a lot more open to it. And I can do a whole video with him if you guys want to hear his opinion from his own mouth. So let me know in the comments. But his opinion is that he thinks that the only guy who would have trouble waiting to have sex are those who are not ready for a serious relationship or are not wanting a serious relationship. So to me, that just shows me how great of a weeding process this is, because the only guys who will probably struggle with this are the ones who aren't looking for something serious. They want some instant gratification, they want something quick, and they're not willing to put in the work for anything else. So I think it's a great way to kind of test out the waters and just like really show what a man's character is like. I had an example. So he told one of his female friends that she should wait 6 months to sleep with somebody, and then she waited about a month and then slept with him, and then a couple weeks later she received a text from his girlfriend, who I believe he lived with, I'm not sure, but then she got a text from his girlfriend, and had she waited a few more months, that situation would have played out before she slept with him. The last thing my boyfriend said about it was he felt like it was a reset button for him, and that he got to know me on a much deeper level. And he felt a lot more secure in our relationship because we were not basing it on things like sex, which is like lust, and that can all fade. So it built for a really strong foundation in his opinion. From my perspective, there's definitely challenges and ups and downs. So if you want me to make a separate video on that, I can, and explain the whole story, because it definitely wasn't perfect, and I don't want you guys to think that it was a perfect and easy journey. But I can go into depth about that more later. But what I've seen from refraining from sex is that I was able to weed out guys so much faster. It was very revealing on men's character. And it really showed you how much effort a man would put in if you didn't give him that instant gratification of feeling like he owned you, or got the prize already. Another thing I saw when I actually did start dating was that it really allowed us to get to know each other so much better, and we had so much more time to focus on like getting to know each other's characters and their background, and just like their morals and their values, and just everything on such a deeper level than I would have if we were busy like getting it on. We weren't able to use a physical action like sex to get through, like makeup sex is what the kids like to call it. There was no makeup sex, so you really were like forced to deal with things on a much more mature level. Okay, so to recap, the major things that I got from when I stopped having sex was, one, I was able to weed out men so quickly. It was just very telling on people's character, and it showed me how hard some men are willing to work to be in a relationship with someone that they want, regardless if something physical is involved or not. And it really built my relationship that I'm currently in to such a high level. It also took out so many complications of a typical relationship. I think we like to pretend that sex doesn't really have an impact, but I know it can be a huge insecurity for a lot of people, guys and girls, and that definitely gets dragged through the relationship. And just taking it off the table just really like eliminated so much drama and insecurities around it, which is amazing. I saw myself in a new light through God's eyes, or however you want to describe it. I just saw how much I was worth, and that I really was worth someone putting in effort and work and taking me on dates and buying me flowers, and just literally I was worth the man of my dreams, like fighting for me even if I didn't give my body away to him right away or ever, really. And there's just so much power in that realization, and it's so amazing, and it just really just helps your confidence. And I don't know, it was definitely something I would recommend to every girl. Even if you don't want to save yourself for marriage, that's totally fine, but I would definitely at least recommend saving, just refraining from sex for a few months before you start dating someone, or in the beginning stages of dating someone. 5 stars all around, and snaps. 5 stars, snaps, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Guys, well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video and just understanding a little bit why waiting to have sex could benefit you, even if it's not forever, even just for a short amount of time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, or if you guys want more videos like this, I'd love to share. As I said, I'm an open book, so you can really ask me anything and I will tell you about it. Well, thank you so much again for watching this video. If you're not already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And did I say thank you already? I think I did. I should probably just go. All right, bye.